Hello, hello. Gonna get started here in just a minute or so. Today, I plan to try to wrap up the first part of the linter I've been working on the last few weeks. And then I want to integrate this into the Gopher.js tool. So do some CLI work. So it'll be a little bit different than digging into the AST and all that stuff for most of today's live stream, I think. So hopefully that'll be a nice, interesting change of pace for anybody watching. Then next week, I'm thinking of doing something completely different and putting the linter on hold, perhaps indefinitely. We'll see. See how popular it is if people want me to get back to that. But next week, I think I'm going to go through another tutorial, this time about fuzz testing. So that's my plan as it stands right now. I'll probably do a poll on LinkedIn or on YouTube, maybe, I don't know, and see if people like that idea. But my plan as it stands right now is next week to go through John Arundel's 4-part blog series on fuzz testing, kind of like I did at the beginning of this series on the linting, and learn how to do fuzz testing and Go. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. If you have a strong opinion one way or the other, let me know on chat or by email or however you want to. So that's sort of my plan right now. If you aren't already connected with me by email, feel free to head over to boldlygo.tech/daily, and there you can sign up. I send out daily emails about Go, and you can just reply to any one of those, or go to boldlygo.tech. If you don't want to sign up, that's fine. You can find my contact details there. You can also find me. Just send me a direct email or contact me through social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Mastodon, etc. So let's get started. I've been working on, so I pulled up the issue here on the screen where I am tracking the progress of this new linter. And I've been working on kind of these two together. Actually, I guess I might be able to say I've resolved this one. I want to, before I hit that check mark, I want to look at the code a little bit. And I already started working on this second part. So for anybody who's not familiar, basically the idea here is that with Gopher.js, which compiles from Go to JavaScript, if you want to access a JavaScript object that's called js.object, and it has to be a pointer and it has to be embedded as the first field in a struct. So that the linter I'm working on at the moment, the rule I'm working on for the linter is to enforce those rules I just described, which are explained here. I think I've already completed the first one, so let me look at the code that I've already written. Let me pull it up on my editor, and we'll just have a look at it. I guess I should look at the test file, so that's really where that's better documented. All right, so here we've verified that it fails if it's direct object. I think I did the pointer version somewhere. I don't see that, but I think I tested that it did catch it, but I don't see it documented here, so I should do that. Let me add that right now. Let's use a blank identifier because that works just as well. Should have the exact same failure. I think that already passes. So I'm pretty sure I tested that a week or two ago, but we'll find out here. I just added it here as documentation for the moment. Here we fail if it's mentioned as a slice. I suppose. Why don't I, just for clarity's sake or for completeness sake, I'll do the same thing here. Pointer of slice or slice of pointer to start that JS object. And again, I think this one already fails too, but we'll just be certain. And then same with an array. And then we have a map. Let's do a map of pointers. I'll also do the array, even though I'm pretty sure the array and slice use the exact same part of the code. But just to be certain, better to have too many tests than not enough. and then a map to JS object should fail. So let's do a map to pointer to JS object, or I shouldn't say map to, but a map key of it should fail. Can you hear me, by the way? I just got a notification that the audio stream's bitrate is 0, and that seems strange to me. Is that even possible? If you can hear me, let me know in chat. If you can't hear me, I'm going to investigate this for a moment. Maybe I'm just talking into the void. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect and see if I can make this go away. Wait, here we go. So you can hear me. Volume, low volume. I can bump my volume up a little bit. I'm not really sure why I get that complaint frequently, because I'm running at almost redline levels. But thanks for letting me know that you can hear me. I'll not disconnect in that case. I guess this warning I'm getting is false positive. All right, I will continue. If it remains, the volume remains a problem, let me know. I did adjust mine up a little bit, but I really can't go any higher or I'm going to start clipping. All right, where was I? So I was saying that I want to not allow map values of pointer to JS object, and now I also don't want to allow map keys of pointer to JS object. And then we have slices of slices, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think I need to go too far into that. Let me just run this and see how it goes. I expect everything to pass because I'm pretty sure I tested this. It said something didn't happen. Line 13. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't test this. So I'm glad I tested it now. Okay, glad to hear that the audio is working. Okay, so I know what I'm going to fix now. I'm going to fix this part. Whoops, I can't. It's the wrong file name. We'll zoom in a little bit here. So the goal now is to make those tests I just added pass. In other words, make it fail that pointers to these things are allowed. So the first one's actually passing. So this one's working for some reasons. The other ones that aren't. So anyway, let me disable all but one of those. So that was lines 25, 21, and 17. I'm going to comment out. 17, 21, and 25. I just want to focus on one at a time. Okay, I'm actually going to delete those lines then, since commenting them out doesn't convince the linter not to complain. Not the linter, the test suite. All right, line 13. So we're now trying to make a slice of pointers to JS objects fail. So I'm pretty sure we already covered the array type. So it's right here. Sorry, people at my window talking. So I need to make, maybe I want to make this particular function detect pointers as well. Let me see if that makes sense. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So I think it would be here. This is probably telling me that it's not an object; it is a pointer or something like that. But let's find out here. Where's that? Here's. I want to copy this. Can I copy that here? It needs pass. Yeah, I should be able to put that here. And uncomment it. So now I should get some debug output. Or not. Must not be happening here. Let me just put it at the top here and see what happens there. Okay, now I get some debug output. And where's the one that is a pointer to a slice of JS object? I don't see it here. Why not? One of these must be it, but it doesn't make sense to me. I'm confused now. I would really honestly expect this to show a pointer to something here. Okay, I'm going to use that diagnostic tool we're using the last couple times. I have to go look up where that was again. Go to lint.run, and then I can go to new linters, and then the tutorial, and then scroll down a little bit to this tool. Great. So now let me copy and paste, because that's everybody's best friend. I'm going to delete the, whoops, something not right here. Copy, paste. Okay, I'm going to delete all except this one I care about. Still not doing what I want. Copy, paste. Okay. There. Let's see what this tells me. I have a decal, gen decal, ast.spec. Let me look at my code. I'm going to clear my working copy. Not the whole thing. Actually, now I will do the whole thing. Git checkout. And I'm going to re-add just this, which is already working for some reason, and then this, which is not working, and I'm going to commit that. First, I'm going to create a branch. Final, what was the description of that line item here? Direct use, okay. Direct use final cases. That's my branch name. I'm going to commit this, add failing test for slice of pointer to JS object. We verify that it's still failing, and it is, okay. All right, so now I want to consider, wrong thing, here we go. I want to look at this again and compare that to the code here. So I'm looking for an ast.array type. Do we even get that here? Okay, here's an ast array type. And then star expr. So I need to look for a star expr somewhere. I suppose that would be in here. Or is that happening before that? Final. Yeah, this is the final version. Okay, I see the problem here. So we're only calling this if we have selector expression, which we don't have, because we have this star expression that wraps the selector expression. So I need to add that. So let me turn this into a switch. Switch. Our type, I guess, is the name I'm going to use. Colon equals t.elt.type case. Now let's copy this existing one. If we have that, then we want to call this on ARR type. It's not really type, it's more like type expression. ARR type expr, I guess. And I can delete this. Now this should be equivalent to this if I just had. Let me run the test again, make sure I have the exact same failures. I do. And so then I can add the new case ast.star, was it star expr? And in that case, I want to like call the child element, right? Which is x. So then I say, let's say, I'm calling it x for now. I'll probably rename it. Equals ARR type expr dot x ast dot selector expr. If okay, then we can call this on x. I think it'll work now. Let's find out. Yay, that solved it. Okay, so we dereference that pointer and pass it in as expected. Is x the best name? I don't know. It is reference. That is the name of the field. I guess I'll leave it as it is because I don't know what better to call it right now. But let's commit that working code. With slices of pointers. Now, I believe that this fix will also solve it for arrays of pointers. Let's just double check that. Now it's working. Just to be certain, I'm going to comment out this code I just added and see if it fails, to see if that exact same code fixed it. And it did. So that's exactly as I expected there. So that's nice. Test against arrays of pointers for good measure. And then let's do these map dealios. So we have here a map of pointer to JS object values. And I'm pretty sure this one will fail since it was earlier. And it does. So let's look at the map one here. So that's here. So here I first check the values and then the keys. So I could do the exact same thing I did here and turn this into a switch statement that has two types. Or maybe I can, I'm going to do that, but I think I want to abstract that out into some sort of like dereference pointer function or something, because that seems like a simpler way to handle this in every place rather than duplicating that logic 3 times. But to start with, so I have the red phase of my TDD. I'm going to do the green, and then I'll do the refactor. So switch val expr : equals t dot value dot type case. All right, that should be equivalent to what we had before. Let me run the test again. Same failure, so that's good. And now we can add the new case. Whoops, put the wrong thingy there. Here I go. Est dot star expr. Now I can probably copy and paste what I did up here, which is a good indication that we need some deduplication. But hey, okay, this needs to be changed to t dot value, I think. Just t dot value? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work right. No. Okay, so let's go back to our little tool and see what this one looks like. So we're looking for a map expression, map type here. Okay, then we have AST ident, value. Okay, I'm confused why this isn't working. Actually, I understand now. This needs to go here, I think. Value expression dot x. Is that right? I think that's right. Let's check. Yeah, okay. So that one's working now. Let's commit that. Pointer to JS.object as map value. And you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do the map key also, since the solution's basically the same, and then I'll do my refactoring. So I'm going to copy this case, make it a pointer, and then watch it fail. And it does, okay. And now I can do the same thing right here. Switch key expr t.key type case place ast.star expr, and then copy this, and then change val expr to key expr, and I think that should work. Good. JS pointer to JS object as key as map key. Okay, now what I want to do is kind of extract this into some common function. So I think I'm going to call it dereference pointer. Deref pointer, and I need it to take. Is it a node.node that it's taking in? I think so. Node.node, and it needs to return an ast.selector expr and probably a Boolean to indicate whether it failed or not, right? Let's call this, oh, it's not node.node, it's ast.node. Node ast.node. I think that's right. So we're going to do a switch statement, the same switch statement we've been copying everywhere now. We're going to basically copy here. So why don't I just copy and paste that in and then make my modifications. So it's no longer t.key, now it's node. And I'm not going to be calling this, instead I'm going to return it. So let me return key expr, except I don't want to call it, I'll change that in a second. I don't want to call it key expr, but actually let me go ahead and change that now. Let me just call it, I'll call it X for the moment. So if the input value is of the type we expect, we just return it and true. If it's of type ast.starExpr, then we return the child of it and return true. That'd be x.x. Oh, hang on. That's not quite right. I still need to do. I'm not sure if this is quite right. But let me do the return part first. Return. I call this child here. Return child true, and otherwise we return nil false. Is that right? That might be right. Let's try dropping that in place for one of our switch statements and see what happens. Where's that star expression one? So we're going to change this to if. Let's do this. Val expr comma okay equals, and then call this new function deref pointer. On t.value. If okay, then we return this, or then we call this on val expression. Otherwise, we're done. Let's see if that works, yeah? It does. Great. So let's copy that to these other places here. So now we have key expr, okay, colon equals deref pointer on t.key. If okay, then call the same thing again, except on key expr. Now I'm going to actually shorten this to just reduce the scope of the variables, just because it feels a little bit cleaner to me. It's functionally identical, but I kind of like it this way better. And then I can delete this. Just verify that our tests still pass. They do. And there's one more place I can do that. My first option, right? The first place I did that was right here. So let's do if arr type expr comma okay equals deref pointer t.elt. Okay, then we call this deal and delete that. Yay! So there is our new code. Let's commit that. Dry up pointer dereferencing. Let's push that up. And let's merge that. All right, should just take a moment because I think we have a few tests that run on the linter and whatnot. Make sure that passes, and we'll merge this. And then we're going to get to some CLI stuff. So while we're waiting for this to run, I'll just talk a little bit about the CLI I'm going to work on. So the initial issue I created a few weeks ago talks about creating a standalone Gopher.js vet tool. And then my co-maintainer suggested integrating it into the existing Gopher.js binary. So we could call it Gopher.js space vet. I'm going to do that latter part first because I think it seems easier. Because we already have that Gopher.js tool with all its CLI capabilities. So I think it's going to be easier to integrate into that than to build the standalone tool. And maybe we will, maybe we won't ever add that standalone tool in the future. My main personal interest in this is to have this eventually integrated into Golang CI lint, which doesn't require that standalone tool. So I don't know if anybody would ever use that standalone tool. If they would, then we should probably add it. If not, maybe we can just skip that little bit of effort. So that's what I'm going to work on today, is integrating this into the Gopher.js tool itself, which means we'll be working in the Gopher.js repository. Our test to pass, I'm going to go ahead and merge this. And I'm now going to mark that first bullet point complete. Actually, before I do that, let's just quickly go through and see if there's anything I might have missed. You know, there are some things I just thought of that I haven't done. Actually, the only one I can think of would be a channel of JS object. I might save that for another day because I don't think it's going to be that profound to go through the same process I just did to do that. I'll probably do that offline. But I think that's the only other type I could have. And I might also go ahead and add some tests for these, but I'm pretty sure that's already covered. You know, for a slice of pointers. I think I will add the channel thing, you know, a channel of JS object and a channel pointer JS object. I'll do that offline, but I think that's the only other possible type that could exist that isn't covered here. There might be some generics that matter. I don't know if that does matter. I'll have to think about that. But let's get to the CLI stuff. I'm going to go ahead and mark this complete. It's complete enough to be useful for a lot of people already. So I'm going to mark that complete, and then let's work on Gopher.js CLI stuff. So for that, we're going to be in a different repo. So I'm going to close this editor window for now. We may open it again. I'm going to change directories here. I'll just open up a new tab. So I already have Gopher.js checked out, and I'm on master. So let's create a branch. Gopher.js vet. Now, one thing I don't know about this is the state of tests around the CLI tool. I don't think there really are tests for the CLI in Gopher.js. So I'm going to have to make the decision whether I'm going to use TDD for this part or not. And I don't know I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. First, I'm going to look at the tool that exists. I think that's this tool.go. Let me open this directory up here. I think this is where that CLI is defined. Cobra, yeah. So this is where the CLI is defined. Let's see where those top level commands. CMD install. I don't really like the way this package is organized. It's been organized, it was written by Richard Mosel several years ago. I don't know if he likes the way it's organized anymore. He's no longer really working on the project actively. Basically, I don't like having all of the subcommands defined in the same top level code, but whatever. I'm going to copy the pattern because that's what we have. The main reason I don't like it is it makes testing hard, which is kind of what I wanted to do today, but I think I won't be bothering. So here we have CMD test. So that would be like if you go Gopher.js test, which is the equivalent of Go test. We saw install a minute ago. There's get. So all these different commands are defined. So basically, I need to add the vet option. I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist, but let me just search. It does not. So I suppose I'll add that probably at the end of this function. So the last one is root cmd, cmd version, cmd. I think I'll add it right before version, since version is kind of a special case. So here we have serve, so I'll add it here. cmd vet equals cobra.command. And I'm just gonna wing it. I'm not gonna do TDD, at least on this part of it. Maybe I will on some of the internals, but we'll see where we get. We'll see where we get. All right, and we need to kind of duplicate this little bit. Let's call it just vet. So I'm going to refer to how go vet works. Go help vet rather. So there's a whole bunch of different flags. And in theory, we want to copy most or all of those flags ourselves too, at least the ones that are easy to support. For now, I'm just gonna get rid of the. I'm just gonna do this, yeah. Vet runs the go vet command on the packages named by the import paths. Okay, I'm gonna copy something similar. Run the go for JS vet command on the packages. Name. Okay, I'll go ahead and put packages here since that sounds like it's kind of essential, I guess. Get rid of the period here. I'm trying to balance being consistent with Go versus being consistent with Go for JS because they aren't exactly the same, obviously. Now this isn't being used yet, so let's see. Okay, I just need to add it to this, I guess. I don't know what order these are done in. It looks like arbitrary order. It's not alphabetical. So I guess I'll just add mine to the end. CMD vet. All right, so we should have a command that does nothing, but let's see here. Go install. I should install a new Gopher.js binary. And do we have vet listed there? No. Oh no, it's right here. So because that doesn't have a run command associated with it, I guess, it just gives a help topic. That's interesting that get does the same thing. Well, it has a. I don't know what that's supposed to do. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm confused why it seems to treat get as distinct from the others, but whatever. All right, where was my CMD vet? So I need to set the run command. So one thing I don't really understand is why we define, looking at CMD serve here, we define this first and then we set other fields on it rather than just putting it all in line. Maybe it's to reduce indentation. I don't know if it actually does that, but I'm going to copy this in convention since that's what everyone else does, or all the other commands do. So I don't need to copy the whole function. I just want to copy the function signature. So let's do that. All right, so now it's a command that does nothing rather than being a non-command. I expect that will change the output here. Nope, it didn't change the output. I don't understand what that really means. But let's see if we can make it do something. So now I'm wondering if I should build that other CLI tool first, the one I just told you I didn't want to build, because I'm realizing that what I've built so far has no way to be invoked except through the test suite. I'm going to look back at the tutorial and try to get just come to grips with what I want to accomplish here. I want to come down to the end here where it talks about, is it integrating? This might be the easiest way forward. I'm not sure. So where did I'm trying to remember where the CMD command was defined. Package main. That's not what I want. I want the other package main. This is what I want. Nope, not that one. That's the. I don't think. Maybe we need to look at his example repository. Oh, this is the URL. Let's just pull that up. All right, let's see what he does. It's very simple there. Oh, he just calls single checker main. Well, that's simple enough. Let's try. I think that's probably all we really need, at least to start with then in this command. Except it's not called analyzer, it's called, so now I need to look at my other repo again. Sorry for the noise, it sounds like the jets are starting to fly overhead. Ah. Let's see what that does. Not what I wanted it to. So I'm also realizing that, actually, no, so single checker is not, well, I'll start with that, but that's not what I want ultimately because I have multiple checkers, right? I have, well, right now I have a single one, but eventually I will have, what was the number? Like 8 or 10 checkers, whatever number of checkers here, I'll have all of these. But starting simple, we'll start with single checker. But it's still not working. So let me open up this and examine what might be going on. So analyzer should be the right thing. What's going on? Maybe it doesn't have the right import path. I'm trying to determine why it's not resolving this. But it might just be that I need to import it. Go get github.com, gopher.js, gopher.js vet. See if that solves it. Resave this. Yeah, that did it. Okay, that was simple enough. All right, go install. No mod tidy. How about that? There we go. Let me close my window so that those jets aren't so loud. It's one of the hassles of living in the flight path of one of the largest airports in the world. All right, so didn't do anything. Let's make sure this is being called. I like to make my panics sound like silly animals. Okay, it's not calling this code or else it would be panicking. Don't know why. See if there's anything obvious I missed. If anybody knows anything about Cobra, feel free to drop me some hints. I've used Cobra before, but I haven't seen this particular failure. Am I missing some flags here? Use, short, args. I don't think I care about args just yet. Or flags. I just wanted to run this command and panic is all I wanted to do right now. Make sure I'm running the right version of Gopher.js. Right. Well, I have to be, because it shows Gopher.js. It shows that here, so that means it's the one I just compiled. I'm gonna do something silly here. I'm gonna put a panic in here and see if that happens. So that, wait. I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. There we go. Silly typo. Copy paste-o. Now it's panicking as expected. I'm glad I did my silly check to make the other one panic. When I made CMD serve, when I tried to make it panic, it became obvious the mistake I had made. Sometimes doing something you know is stupid is the easiest way to discover the mistake you made, at least in my experience. Package vet is not in Go root. All right, that's interesting. I'm not sure what that's talking about. I wonder if this returns an error. It does not. Okay, so just curious. All right, so now I get to debug this. Package vet is not in Go root. I don't think I care about that, but it seems to think I should. Is that single checker making that? Returning that error? Let's see. It must be. Why is it doing that? Well, it's true that vet is not installed in Go root. Maybe this single checker depends on that? Let's see what Google says about this. Yeah, that's not helpful. Let me search for that with regard specifically to single checker .main. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to look at the Go doc for that single checker package and see what I can learn about that. Whoops. Zoom in a bit. Package single checker defines the main function for an analysis driver with only a single analysis. The package makes it easy for a provider of an analysis package to also provide standalone tool that runs just the analysis. For example, if example.org/findbadness is an analysis package, all that is needed to define a standalone tool is a file example.org findbadness cmd findbadness cmd blah 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 containing blah. Okay, it's more or less what we're doing, except we're integrating it with a larger CLI tool. But why does it seem to... That's all it is. That's all it is. It doesn't explain why it's looking for package vet. All right, we get to start reverse engineering now. Where's my editor window again? There it is. Single checker. All right, where does this possibly return an error? So here's a log.fatal. It could be here. You know, there's probably an easier way to do this. Well, I'm not sure. During loading. So I want to find out where these errors are coming from. So I'm going to try to search. I want to search the Xtools repo, which I'm pretty sure I have a copy of that checked out. Here, let me see. Yeah, I think this is it here. Yeah, okay. CD go, and now it's a single checker. All right, let's grab. Oh, there's just a single file there. All right, I'm going to go up a few levels then. Grab. What am I looking for? Error during loading. All right, so that happens here. What causes that to happen? If n is greater than 1, then we print errors during loading. If it equals 1, then print error during. So we had just a single error. I guess that's a good thing. But what was the error? So here it prints the errors. Nice. That's it, I guess. Print errors prints to os.std error the accumulated errors of all packages on the import graph rooted in pkgs. Dependencies first. Print errors returns the number of errors. Okay, so it just prints the errors. Where do the errors come from? Loading error. Loading error checks for issues during the loading of initial packages. Returns nil if there are no issues. Returns error of the type parse error if all errors, including those in dependencies, are related to typing or parsing. Otherwise, a plain error is returned with an appropriate message. Not understanding what it's doing here. This is just ranging over this PKG's slice and seeing if errors already exist on that, and if so, print them. So that means that the errors have already been assigned before this point. So this must be in packages.load where those errors are being set. Load loads and returns the Go packages named by the given patterns. I thought I'd be working on CLIs, but I'm trying to understand how the linter works. Oh well. Config specifies loading options. Nil behaves the same as an empty config. Load returns an error if any of the patterns was invalid, as defined by the underlying build system. May return an empty list of packages without an error. For instance, for an empty expansion, valid wildcard errors. Errors associated with a particular package are recorded in the corresponding package's errors list and do not cause load to return an error. Clients may need to handle such errors before proceeding with further analysis. I don't know. Let's search for this string and see if that gets us any closer. Not really. I don't understand why it's looking for package vet. Actually, I might have an idea about that. I do have a theory about that, actually. It might be Gopher.js related. Let me have a look here. CD compiler. It may be. So basically, Gopher.js keeps it tries to use the standard library from Go whenever possible, but there are places where it has to use a custom version, and it has excluded certain. It may have excluded, I think, certain packages. I'm wondering if it's excluding the vet package, and maybe that's why it can't find it. Let me see here. Don't really see evidence of that. I would expect to see the word vet show up somewhere in an exclude list. I don't see that. The other way that could happen is if the standard library's vet package is completely guarded by build tags, but I don't think that's the case. But let's look. In fact, I don't even know what that package is called. Is there even a package called vet? No, there's not. So that's not it. So what is it complaining about? What is it complaining about? Okay, I'm going to do something stupid again and see if it helps make things more clear. I'm going to rename vet. Well, you know what? I'm going to rename it to vet x. I'm going to rename it and see if that changes the error message. To try to determine if vet is some magic string or if it's just that I'm doing something else wrong, right? Go install, Gopher.js. Okay, now vet x shows up here. That is interesting rather than down here in this additional help topics section. It still gives the same error message though. That's so weird. Okay, now vet is showing up here. I suppose the reason is because I have that run command defined now. So that is what it should have been doing in the first place. But anyway, I've determined that it's not a magic spelling that's breaking things, but I still don't have any idea what it is. Package vet is not in Go root. Why does it think it should be? Let's see if there's something about that in here. Okay, there's something interesting in the analysis doc. Let me look at that. Our analysis driver is a program such as vet that runs a set of analyses and prints the diagnostic that they report. The driver program must import the list of analyzers it needs. I'm not sure if that's relevant to me or not. So I would think that this is some sort of special case for vet, given all this stuff about vet, but like I already tested when I renamed it, it didn't seem to change the behavior, so I don't think it's that. Maybe, oh, I better know what it is. I bet this, oh, I have a really good idea now. I think I have a good idea what's going on. This must be doing its own command line parsing. And that's got to be what's happening. Oh, yes, yes. Yes, that makes sense. It's trying to vet a package. It's trying to run the analysis on a package called vet because it's doing its own command line parsing. That's got to be what's happening. So I need to change this, or maybe not use single checker. Maybe single checker is the wrong tool for this, since I want to pass my own arguments to it. So let's try not using single checker. Multi-checker. Let's try doing that. Let's see what kind of options we have here. So that's not going to really solve my problem. Maybe to start with, I'm going to validate my assumption, I'm going to just modify os.args. It's kind of ugly, and I probably don't want to do that permanently, but let's try doing that for now, right? Let's do os.args equals. I'm just going to call it asdiff. Well, I'm going to call it. The first argument shouldn't matter because that's the name of the executable. So let's call it blah. And then let's see if now the error is that it's trying to, that it can't find package asdiff. Go install. Whoops. Go install. Go for JS. Vet. Haha! That's it. So that's what's going on. Ba-da-ba-bum. So I think what I want to do here is place args equals append. And then I'm going to give it, I'm just going to do it blank because it doesn't matter, right? And then args. I'm not actually sure what args contains here. I don't know if it's all the unparsed arguments or all the arguments, but we're going to find out. Well, I don't know. It still didn't answer my question. Let's do this. T.println args. It's empty. I guess that makes sense because I haven't passed any arguments. Let's do asdiff and see what it does there. Yeah, okay. So that's doing what I expected now. So yeah, that's actually pretty much what I want. Let's see if I can pass it an actual path to lint, right? So let's go to src. I usually keep a test directory around. Let's put some broken stuff in here, right? var x js.object. Oh, not even var x, just var underscore. All right, this should fail the linter, right? Gopher JS vet dot, does that work? No, go mod tidy. Let's do that first. Okay, so it's printing. Yeah. Let me rebuild that. Go install. Well, no errors, but that's not actually what I expected. Print out those arguments, the OS args that I've set. github.com/flimsley-test. Well, it seems like it's invoking it, but it's not printing any errors, which it should be doing. I'm trying to think how I could validate that this is working. This is one reason I like test-driven development, because if it were easy to write a test for this first, then I wouldn't have to think of all the manual ways to validate this is working. I would have thought of that ahead of time, but this isn't really set up for that. All right, so how can I test? So I guess I could plug in a different analyzer here and see if it fails. Maybe I'll copy the one from here. Let me put this in place. And then I'll create a func foo format string args any. I don't want to do anything, but I just want that to fail, right? So that should fail based on that linter that we did the first week. If it was unused, I don't care about that right now. All right, let's go. Wrong. Here. Go get. Let's fetch that. Go, and then let's put that in here. Import that, then analyze. What was the name of my thing? Direct JS object. All right, so now we should be running that linter from the tutorial that fails for printf-like functions, which should also fail here, but it's not. So I'm still at a loss. Maybe I should just call this analysis.validate directly, huh? Rather than using this other one, this single checker thing. Let me see how involved this is. It looks like what I need to be doing, but let me see how involved it is. So that just validates the analyzers. That doesn't actually do anything with the code. Here it parses all the command line flags, etc. And here checker.run is where it actually does the check, it looks like. Okay, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go to this multi-analyzer thing, whatever it was called. I'm going to do some copy paste evil until things make sense to me. So I think copy this. I need to figure out where to put that in this Gopher.js repo. I suppose internal makes sense. Internal vet. Copy the go doc. There's no go doc on here, is there? Oh, that's good enough. Just leave it at that. Now, rather than calling single but or whatever here, I want to do this one. So it'll be vet.main and then that single analyzer. Now, I don't expect this to work yet, but it'll be easier to start debugging things. Okay, where does that checker come from? Comes from here. Oh, we can't do that because it's an internal package. So is analysis flags. Urgh, that's annoying. So my plan failed. Let's see. What I'm thinking now is to go back to building the standalone Gopher.js vet tool, because that would work with this, since we do want that then to do its own command line parsing. And then have Gopher.js space vet just wrap govet, probably with cmd.exec. That might be the way to go. Because this has looked like a dead end to me, unless I want to do a huge amount of copying and pasting, which I don't. So I'm going to temporarily abandon this project. Maybe I'll come back to it, and I'm going to go the other route, which means I'm going to close this editor. I'm going to stop editing the Gopher.js repo entirely for the moment, and we're going to go back to Gopher.js vet. Also, it looks like it's actually very, very simple to do that. Like it's just copying and pasting a single file with about 3 lines of code in it. So it's much less intimidating than I was initially thinking, since it handles all the command line parsing and so on for me. I don't have to bother with that. So super. So I'm going to create a direct. I'll create a branch called CMD, since I'm going to create the CMD here. And let's get started. mkdir minus p cmd go mkdir minus p cmd Gopher.js vet code cmd. Now let me open up the current project first. Main.go package main. This is always fun. And we can basically copy the one we saw over here. Just do that, and then change. We don't need this. Instead, we want, what was it called again? Direct.js object. That should accomplish it right there. I'm going to regroup these imports because I like, whoops. I like to keep my own imports in a group, like so. I don't know what this does. Okay. I don't know what unsafe PTR does from govet. I'm curious to find out. Govet unsafe PTR. I don't know why it thinks it would crash. I really want to understand this because I don't like having code that I don't understand. It really annoys me. Go help vet. Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's use GPT-4 this time, and I want to ask, what does govet's unsafe PTR flag do? Well, ChatGPT didn't help. Guess we can look at the source code, huh? Unsafe PTR. I have no idea. Let me look at the repo I was looking at earlier. CD tool. Good to grab. Let's see what we get here. Well, there's an analyzer called unsafe PTR. I don't see why calling that would crash. All right, so my conclusion is I'm going to delete this because I don't understand it. And if I ever have a crash, then I'll put it back again. That's what I think. We have one other idea. Maybe GoVet calls it with that flag sometime. I don't know. I'm going to delete it for now. I'm going to delete it, and if it ever is a problem, I'll remember, hopefully, and add it back again. Now I also want to switch to this multi-checker, which looks like it's just an import line change, and then later I can add my other checkers here. But let's try this. Go install cmd gopher JSVet. Oh, I should put a dot there. There we go. Now let's try it here. Gopher JSVet dot. It's not working. GitHub.com flimsy test. Nothing. Wonder if there's a way to like add a verbose flag? No. I can print a version. I don't even know there was a version. Oh, it doesn't think there's one. Print version and exit, but it unsupported. That doesn't make sense to me. That's kind of funny. It's interesting that it gives all of this stuff, all this output, but it doesn't understand. But I haven't told it that. Do I need to enable this? I doubt it, but let's see. I'm very confused. I don't know why this isn't working. I'm going to try not forking, but downloading this one from the tutorial and see if it works as expected. Let's find some code that works and work our way backwards from there, right? All right, once again, go install ./cmd go print blah blah blah. All right, let's try running this on my test package now. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I know what that means. It doesn't like this package being imported because it doesn't know how to compile it because it's guarded by build tags. So that's not failing either, and it should be. Do they have an example here of broken code I could copy? No. Well, they have this. This is one where certain should fail. We'll put that here and try again. Okay. That one fails. I don't, maybe it doesn't like the any. Maybe it wants interface spelled out. It does. That's funny, but okay. Okay. Now what I want to do is modify this code to use my other analyzer. Oh, come on. And see if I can make it fail. So I'm going to switch this to multi-checker. And see if it still works. One small change at a time until I can figure out what's wrong, right? Okay, it still does exactly what I expected. Now let me add my analyzer, direct JS object.analyzer. Okay. I have a theory now. Command tidy. Okay, so now it should fail both linters, except it's not going to, I think. Well, that's not what I expected. All right, so I don't have any idea what's happening. I'm going to do some ugly debugging here. Code. Let's see if this is even being executed. Apparently that it's not. I don't know why. Could not import. Why not? I thought I fixed that already. What? Reload this editor in case some sort of caching problem. That seems to have solved it. Okay. Well, it seems to have loaded with both of those, so that's a good sign. And it's definitely loading the file. It's just not apparently executing my checker here. Why not? This panic should be happening. Let me try, I don't know, removing one of these analyzers. In case the order matters for some reason. I don't think it does. Both are still listed. That shouldn't be happening. Okay, now only mine is listed there. Still not doing anything though. Let's see if my code is so confused. Okay, this should be brute force and ugly, but we're going to try it. See if that code's even being loaded, right? Why is this failing? Oh, of course, I need to put func. Sometimes the silliest things. Okay, let's install that. And my goodness, is my code not even being loaded at all? Oh, I know why. I know why. Well, I know why that particular thing is not working. It's because I need to set up a replace directive here. Replace this to use /gopher.js_vet. That should make it load the one off of disk. And now it should start panicking. It doesn't explain why it wasn't being effective. Okay, now it's panicking. Okay, good. That doesn't explain to me why it wasn't catching any lint, but at least I know why it wasn't panicking. So that I'm on. Sometimes doing stupid things can help. All right, now let's see if we can make it panic in that run function. All right, so it is calling the run function. That's good news. So this is being called. Let's just see what's happening here. Stuff is definitely happening. I wonder if it's not detecting the correct import path. Or maybe let me see if I even have the right import path. I might have made a mistake there. No, that looks right. Let me just compare that in case there's a typo. No, it's correct. That's correct. Oh yeah, so Gabriel points out, nice catch about that replace. That's a really useful local debugging tool that I forget about all the time, obviously. All right, so now I'm just old-fashioned debugging here to figure out where this isn't happening. Let's work our way backwards here. I'm going to do this: fmt.println pkg.path. Let's see what that says, if it even executes. This is where TTD would be so great. So that's not even executing. Okay, let's work our way back up here. Let's start the other direction then. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to just do this. See what's the last one we can get to. An interactive debugger might be nice for this, but the truth is I so rarely need to do this sort of debugging. None of these are being executed. Okay, I'm going to turn on this debugging friend. Okay, so things are happening here. We're definitely traversing this tree. Why isn't any of this happening? Type, field type. You know, I think I discovered a bug in my linter. I think is what happened. Yeah, definitely. I found a bug in my linter. I think to trigger the linter, then I think I know what I need to do. I think if I make this a package variable, it will fail. I think the linter is going to catch that one. Let me turn off all the debugging. It's going to hide all the useful output. Let's get rid of this 1, 2, 3 nonsense. No, that didn't work. That didn't catch it. So I was wrong. My suspicion was wrong. Oh, maybe this will work. Because that's the format I had in my in my tests. Okay, I think this will detect it now. Yes, it did. No, it did not. Something is on an expression. Something else is wrong. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. All right. Detected my failure. So the CLI tool works. It's just that I have to add a whole bunch of new cases to my linter logic. So that's good to know. I'm glad I discovered that. So let me clean up this work here. Get rid of the debugging nonsense I just created. I don't need this file open anymore. Don't need that one. Let's. All right, so there's my super simple CLI tool. Let's commit that. Only took an hour to write one line of code. Not even write it, copy and paste it. My goodness. All right, let's go ahead and merge that thing. And then I'm going to go back and I'll spend the rest of the half an hour that we have remaining to finish this check mark I already checked off, which isn't actually complete now that I realize it. Another good thing I could work on, maybe in two weeks, would be to set up Go Releaser on this project. Now that we have a standalone CLI tool, it would be nice that every time I create a build, it just creates a tarball and a zip file and so on that you can download for Mac OS and for Windows. And that's not actually difficult to do. I've done it on a couple projects, so that might be a great live stream in a couple weeks also to do Go Releaser. So I'll keep that one in mind for the future. All right, the linter's done. Test should be done in just a moment. And then we're going to add some more. Well, I guess we did learn one thing, or demonstrated one thing today that I like to harp on about TDD, that you want proof that your tests are failing before you're confident that your code is working. Because otherwise, I would have just thought, oh yeah, my tool is working great. My code's clean. It doesn't have any lint. I want to prove that it has lint because otherwise, the linter's not doing any useful thing. All right. More lint cases. What? If I could spell better. All right. Start with a new blah, 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 new this data. All right, so these all are assignments, and that's fine. But now I need to just like do declarations, right? So let's try var js.object, and we want this to fail, but it won't. Okay, great. Let's put this into our little tool and see what it looks like. I don't know what to call this tool. Go asked viewer. I can say that instead of our tool in the future. All right, so it's a, which one are we looking for? Value, is it a value spec? Yes. Ident. So we're looking for, I'm not sure what we're looking for yet. Let me load that, or turn on the debugging. Because that will be able, this debugging right here makes it really easy to see what's going on. Value spec, that's what I'm looking for. All right, let's turn off that debugging so it's not so noisy. And let's do, let's put a case here, case, ast.value spec. And so that's this right here. And then we need the selector expert. We don't care what the value is called, right? We care about the other part. So we're looking for the type bit. Let's see how we can do this. Is it? I'm already forgetting how my own code works. No, we need to get t.type needs. Yeah, so that function I just created, the dref pointer, I think that's what I want. Let's see, val, okay, dref pointer t.type if okay, we can call this on val. Let's see if that works. It does, nice. And if I'm right, this is what I want. It should also work on the pointer var js.object. It should handle both of these at the same time since we have that fancy function we just created. It handles that, and that does solve it. Let's make sure that it breaks if I disable this new code. It breaks for both of them. All right, that's great. Let's commit that. All right, we need to do the same thing for our slices, arrays, and maps. I'm not sure why that type object came in there. Both of these should fail in exactly the same way. Let's see what happens. JS redeclared. Okay, I made a mistake somewhere. What are you talking about? Oh, syscall.js got pulled in. I don't want that. Go away. Let's try again. Okay, so this one's working. Not sure why. But I suppose it's because the I'm going to throw it into our tool. What was it called again? Go AST tool viewer. Go AST viewer. I'm going to put it in here, and I have a theory. copy that and place it here. I think the reason this is passing already is because our existing array map already handles this case. Because I think that the tree parser parses that down low. I don't know how to explain that. Let's just look at it. So we have a value spec, and then we have the array type. So yeah, this is already being handled. So that's great. And that probably means it certainly means that the array version will be handled. JS.object var. And it probably means that I'm going to delete some of these blank lines. Let's group these together a little bit closer. Probably easier to read that way. Same thing up here. And why don't I use the blank identifier everywhere just to be consistent? Who wants consistency? That's boring. Let me group these a little bit. Go together. Yeah, okay. Now, I expect these should already be handled perfectly because the array instruct, or the array versus slice are represented very similarly in the AST. And then the map one I expect will also work, but I'm not certain. Oh, and then it should still work. Let's see. Yeah. So by removing those blank lines, my formatter automatically grouped them together, but it still works. It's the same AST. Let's do map string js.object, and then also pointer to JS object, and then the other opposite map js.object to string, and the opposite map pointer, or not opposite, but pointer to JS.object string, and then copy this. I expect these are already working. Let's I just typoed. Let's see. Yeah. All right, question on the chat. For naming Go release packages, do you use things like git tags and LD flags, for example, in the make file? We'll talk about that in the next live. When you talk about Go release packages, I guess you're talking about, yeah, maybe can you expand on your question a little bit? Maybe give an example. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to go into the wrong answer. So if you could expand on that while I'm typing, and I'll get back to it. I'm now going to do the channel thing that I mentioned before and see how that works. So let's do var equals chan js.object. This should fail, as should the pointer version, chan pointer to js.object. Now, I don't think this will fail yet, but we're going to find out. How often do I stream? Every Monday at the same time so far. I've missed a couple weeks, but I think this is my 5th time, and I've over the last 7 weeks. So of the last 7 weeks, I've missed 2 due to renovation of my office. I wasn't able to stream. So I try to do every Monday for 2 hours. And I'm glad you're here, by the way. Welcome. If it's your first time, welcome. All right, those are failing as expected. Except that it's not. No, it's not. It's failing, but not as expected. It says it's not an expression. Let's just do this. Because you can't do an expression like that. You have to do make chan, which I'll have to test also, actually. But let's see what happens here. All right, so that is failing, as expected. Let's copy this into the Go Ast viewer and see what it looks like, and then make it pass. All right, we have value spec as expected, and then chan type. All right. So this is going to be similar to array type, etc. Map type. Let's put a case ast.chan type. And then under chan type, we have the value. All right. So let's do val expr, if val expr colon OK equals dref pointer t dot value OK. obj must be embedded pass node val expr. I think that's going to do it. And it does. That was easy. Detect channels of JS.object. Now I wonder how this will work. I think this will already be covered, but let's see. If we do a channel of slice of JS.object, I think this will already be covered by the previous logic, but let's see. Yes, it is. Okay. Now let's do this version, underscore equals make chan JS.object. I have no idea what this is going to do, but I want it to fail. And it does. Awesome. Let's do a couple others here. We want new JS.object also to fail. That one does not. Okay. So let's see what happens with that one in this AST viewer. So we have an import basic lit. How I name my releases when using Go Releaser. I usually just use semver, although it depends on what I'm building. For something with Go Releaser, I would probably use semantic versioning. And I might not in this case. I have to think about that. Because Gopher.js has its own versioning schema, which is closely but not identically modeled after the Go release schema. So I might want to track that. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that, actually. I'll probably have to talk to my co-maintainer, actually, about that, too. How we want to version Gopher.js vet. That's a really good question. If it wasn't part of Gopher.js, if it wasn't part of that project, I would just use semantic versioning, probably. So I would start with 0.0.1 and work on that, but probably in 0. something until I completed my initial checklist, and then maybe a month or two later, I'd go to version 1. That's probably what I would do if it wasn't part of the Gopher.js ecosystem or project. Since it is, I'll need to talk to my co-maintainer about that. That's a good question. Thanks for bringing that up because I hadn't thought of that. It's a really good question. All right. So I'm not really sure. This says I have an import spec. That can't be what I'm looking for. That's got to be the top. Oh, bad decal. It doesn't like something here. Why? What doesn't it like? Oh, it wants var. That's what it wants. Let's try that again. All right, now we have something that looks a little bit more sane. So we have a call expression. Okay. I bet we have the same with make, but I guess we don't care about that one because it was working fine. I'm gonna check a few other makes first, but I'm gonna do this new first. So let's do case start ast.call exper. Now, so far at least, I only care if name is new. Let's see what call exper looks like. Okay. If t dot fun dot name, is that right? fun.name equals new, then we care. Except it doesn't like this. Why not? Fun.expr. Because I have to do a type assertion, of course. Ident, comma, okay, colon equals. Reflection, or this isn't reflection, but all these type assertions are annoying. In case you're not annoyed, I am. T.fun. T.unfun, how about? Is T.ident. If okay. And ident.name equals new. Okay, now we know we have a new function that's been called. Then we can unpack the rest of this deal. We're looking for arg0 of this call expression. So that's T. What type is args here? So we have to do a type assertion there, I think. Oh, not quite yet. Do a type assertion on this to be. Actually, no. I can pass that into. No, can I? I'm trying to decide if I can pass that into my deref pointer thing. So normally you call new on the concrete type, not on a pointer to it, because it creates a pointer. However, you can have a pointer to a pointer, or even a pointer to a pointer to a pointer, which reminds me that this deref pointer probably needs to be recursive. I'll get there. I'll get there one step at a time. Okay. For now, I just want to call obj must be embedded pass node t dot args 0 with not that many a's. But I need to do a type assertion. C okay equals t dot args 0 is t dot selector expr. If okay, then call that on SE. I think that will work. I don't like it yet. It's really ugly and it can be simplified, but let's see if it works. It does. Okay, great. Now, let's do equals new on a pointer to, which should never really happen, but we want to cover the case anyway, right? And that one fails. But now I can replace this with my deref pointer. arg0 if arg0 okay equals deref pointer t dot args 0. Okay, then I can call this on arg0. So that should work. Okay, now this is crazy, but this is going to fail because this would return a pointer to a JS object, which you should never ever want to do. But it fails. So I need to make this deref pointer recursive. So basically, if I have a star expression, I want to here call, rather than returning child directly, I want to return deref pointer on I think I can simplify this. Return deref pointer on x.x. I think that'll do it. It does. Nice. And just for good measure, let's go up here and add a pointer to a pointer to a pointer to a pointer. Make sure that works. It does. All right, now I want to do a couple other make options here. I think they'll be covered already since that one was already handled, but let's do like make js.object, something like this, right? I think it'll already be covered, but let's be certain. So far so good. And then make map string js.object. Now, I've been typing here, I've realized I'm not checking for function parameters, so I need to do that too, probably, right? So let's do func js.object. This one should fail as well. I guess I should give it a name, right? And I'm sure this one won't. Well, I'm not sure. It doesn't. I was expecting it would. But it's good to know that it doesn't. Let's try this. Var x equals func js.object. I don't need x. Let me put underscore there. That one works. Let's try interfaces. Type x interface. Actually, I can use underscore. Can I? I'm not sure if I can. That works. What other weird ways can we access or define? Let's try a return variable. I guess that'll work probably too if the input variable does, but let's try it. Func y just object. Turn nil. Something didn't work. Errors in package. What are the errors in package? Oh, I can't return nil on there. That's what. Let's try that. Okay, so this one. Oh. So it's giving an error here, but not here. I guess, or it's giving error both places. I guess that's okay. That's probably good. And that reminds me, I should do like assigning a JS object to an empty interface, for example. So let's try that. Var interface equals JS.object. No, let's do something else. Var x interface x equals JS.object. This one should fail. And I think it already will. Yeah, that one already works. Okay. Let's try this one. Try sending a plain JS object on a channel of empty interface. I bet this one won't fail, but let's see. Looks like it does. I don't know why. Okay, that's cool. Well, I can't think of anything else to add right now. And the time is just about up for the day. I suppose I'll go ahead and push this up. maybe I'll do one last go install cmd, go install /cmd. Don't make that mistake again. Yeah, nice. Seems to be working. It's catching both things now. So let's get that PR created and merged. So didn't quite take the path I expected today. I spent half an hour or so running down the wrong path, trying to integrate this into Gopher.js directly. Maybe I'll tackle that another week, or maybe I'll do it offline. But I'll probably at this point just wrap that around the Gopher.js vet tool rather than trying to embed it, since it looks like that's going to be pretty difficult to do. Yeah, what else? So next week I can either pick up on this again. Feel free to let me know your opinion on chat right now if you want. I can either pick up on this some more, or I can go into fuzzing, or go releaser. I guess those are the three options on the table. I'm leaning towards fuzzing just for a little bit of change of pace, because I've been doing this for several weeks, and I think a little change of pace might be nice. And I can always come back to this later in the future. But if you have an opinion, let me know. Hope to see you here again next week. It looks like the tests are done, so I'll go ahead and merge that. And in the meantime, I'm going to chat with my co-maintainer on Gopher.js about how I want to version the lint, the vet tool, see what options we want to consider for that. So anyway, I think it's been a good 2 hours, a little bit frustrating for a while, but we got through and made some good progress on this tool. So thanks for watching. Love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts about next week, and I hope to see you there. Have a great week.